Right now at noon, Artform's Gallery in Pittsburgh hosts a jacket jewelry class. Plus, we've had freezing rain through the morning hours, things gradually improving. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up. And young area athletes sharpen their skills at a Master Skills Camp.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the KOAM News at noon on this icy Monday here across the 4 states. Roads have definitely been dangerous and slick out there. I'm Chris Warner. We're going to begin with a quick check of that forecast. A look outside. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Now, what you're seeing out there, those wet-looking roads, a lot more of that becoming liquid and less ice as temperatures gradually start to warm up across the area. Most of the freezing rain starting to roll out of the 4-state region. And as we take a look at MoDOT cameras around the metro, still some ice there on the one at 32nd and Range Line, and the roads are still wet and black ice, slick spots still a definite possibility across the area. So still slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going, especially side streets and some of those back roads across the area. As for our temperatures, yesterday started the day at a very chilly 16. We came 10 degrees shy of making our average high, going into the mid-30s, but certainly a better day than what we had been seeing. Quick look outside, 33 in Joplin, 32 in Pittsburgh. So again, we are gradually beginning to warm and improve. Take a look, though, off to the west, still a little cooler, and that's where we could see the potential for some additional light freezing rain later this evening. Otherwise, temperatures starting to get a little closer to the mid-30s out there for us, which will certainly help with those road conditions across the area. We're going to have a complete look at your forecast and check in on those road conditions here in just a few more minutes. As for today's top stories, Artform's Gallery in Pittsburgh invited locals to learn how to sustainably add their own personal touch to their outerwear at a jacket jewelry class. Those in attendance were able to hand stitch, paint, and embellish their jackets or bags. Class instructor Brenda Hayes provided the upcycled materials for the students to use.
I go to flea markets, garage sales, antique stores. I like to find vintage laces and buttons and just anything with a vintage feel to it that, you know, probably belonged to somebody's grandma that I can use and bring new life to something.
Now, Brenda says she upcycles all of her art pieces. And board game enthusiasts gathered yesterday at the Bookhouse Cinema in Joplin for a Sunday game night. Some of the games available to play included Ghosts Love Candy, Sorry, Chinese Checkers, and Poetry for Neanderthals. And folks could come in and join in on the fun from 4 to 9 p.m.
So what happened was when I lost my wife about a decade ago, and we were playing board games, and we were getting bored with Monopoly, playing Monopoly 5 times in a row. So I decided to buy some new games, and I met other people who like these new games. And so when I moved back to Joplin, I decided to try to fill that need. There's a real part.
There was a 10% discount on food and drinks for every participant. And young softball athletes in Pittsburgh had the chance to learn fundamental skills from experienced college coaches yesterday at the Master Skills Camp hosted by Fast Pitch Masters. Yesterday's camp was held at World Class Sports and featured 4 sections where the athletes could enhance their hitting, infield, outfield, and speed performance.
With any kids that I coach, I love seeing their individual personalities come out, especially as a catcher and as somebody who was a little bit of a standout kid or like a odd personality, I guess you could say. I like seeing every single personality that's in here and all of them interacting with each other. It's different.
Fast Pitch Masters travels all across the country for their Master Skills camps. And a first grade class in Oklahoma is learning a valuable lesson about humanity. And to do it, they're trying to get letters from people in all 50 states. Ryan Gillen explains.
Okay, so go ahead and take out your crayons, please.
All you need is love.
The vision for this project.
Mrs. Harbin's first grade class at Okmulgee Primary is trying to spread that message across the country.
The students hope to receive a letter or postcard from each of the 50 states by Valentine's Day.
We will take a heart, and whenever we receive one, and we'll put it on the map.
Along with making new friends,
Okay, listening ears on.
Mrs. Harbin hopes her students learn about new places.
We're going to dive into that state, dive into that country, whether it's the food or maybe they have some famous locations, famous people. One of my little ones just said NFL teams, and so we're going to dive into it.
There are a few places the students are particularly hoping to receive a postcard from.
Florida, Ohio, Texas.
Mrs. Harbin is asking for encouraging words to uplift her kids, and in return, the kids will send a letter back.
It only takes one just to spread love, whether it's in your community or in the world. And a small class here in Okmulgee, Oklahoma is able to touch as many lives and as many countries as they can just with this one project.
This one project will pour love into everyone involved, proving that love is really all you need.
Well, coming up, more Americans are looking for new homes following the new year. We'll hear from some experts on what to watch out for. And later, we're making pork chops and applesauce in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, the IRS is trying to separate truth from fiction when it comes to recent tax filings asking for one type of credit. A Wall Street Journal report says the Internal Revenue Service is swamped with 1 million tax return requests from employers for the pandemic-era Employee Retention Tax Credit. The agency still has to determine which claims are valid and which ones are fake. And car owners are still facing rising auto insurance costs, and there's a couple of reasons why. The National Insurance Crime Bureau, or NICB, says auto thefts continue to spike upward in the U.S. The Bureau says thefts in 2023 rose by 2% compared to the first half of 2022. 1 million cars were stolen in 2022, marking the most vehicles stolen since 2008. Thieves are also still after taking catalytic converters. More than 64,700 converters were taken in 2022. That's almost 4 times more than in 2020. And a new year has some people looking for a new home, but authorities are warning the public that con artists are trying to rip people off with fake rentals. Dania Bacchus explains.
It's exactly what I'm looking for.
Luzeli Perez Riviera thought she found the perfect rental home on Facebook Marketplace. She reached out to a contact who claimed to be the property manager. They only spoke online, and he told her to take a self-guided tour, giving her the door code to get inside.
I actually went and saw it physically like the next day.
She agreed to rent the place and sent an online payment of $2,700.
Once we paid the rent, he never sent the lease, never met us at the house to give us the keys.
It was all a scam. The con artist had apparently created a fake listing for an actual rental and somehow gained access to the front door code.
Scammers have the ability to access certain databases and things that are available to agents.
The FBI says Americans reported losing almost $400 million in real estate scams in 2022. However, there are ways to protect yourself.
We see these all the time, and there's so many different iterations of them.
Melanie McGovern from the Better Business Bureau says criminals copy legitimate rental postings and add their own contact info. She advises doing an image search to see if the listing pops up somewhere else. A red flag is when the contact avoids meeting in person and they request payment through gift cards or peer-to-peer apps, which are untraceable.
A lot of times, once you authorize a payment on one of those apps, you're not going to get that money back.
Listings with a suspiciously low rent price are also a sign that the posting may be a fake. Dania Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, Costco is warning that scammers are impersonating its website to defraud its customers. The big box retailer says scammers are using replicas of its website in an attempt to steal customers' personal information, money, or both. Costco says the 20 such operations use illegitimate pop-up websites, ads, surveys, text messages, emails, and fraudulent social media posts. The company says it uses Costco.com as its domain name. Websites with a different domain should be avoided. Well, still to come on KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
If it looks like I have a silly grin on my face, it's because today I have a very special guest in the test kitchen. You're not going to want to miss this.
But first, after the freezing rain this morning, conditions gradually improving across the area with more rain showers on the way. We'll take a look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So we've been dealing with that freezing rain through the morning hours. Most of that now outside of our immediate area. We've just got the cloudy skies, some light drizzle out there, but thankfully temperatures beginning to warm up across the area, and we're seeing any additional precipitation as just rain. And we are starting to see some improvements on roadways, but we still have a little ways to go. It'll be later today before we see big improvements. KDOT's still reporting a number of covered highways across the area, but as you can see, some improvements compared to earlier. There's a few more partially covered roadways out there, and as you head into the eastern parts of Cherokee County, we are looking at what they call, again, wet pavement or seasonal conditions, and that is some slick spots, yes, but not covered. MoDOT also reporting a number of improvements, but we still have partly covered roadways, especially through the Joplin Metro, stretches of I-49, I-44, and as you head south of Joplin toward Neosho, another part of I-49, US 60 out there, and down by Cassville, Greenfield, Stockton, still some covered roadways out there across the area. So, still some ice, still black ice possible, even on some of the clearer roadways, so still slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. Taking a look at rain chances over the next 24 hours. And they're going to start to ramp up again as we head through the evening and into the overnight hours, and then start to taper off towards sunrise tomorrow, and that's associated with additional rain on the way. But the good news is things are looking a little better. Now, this is the ice accumulations from this morning up till now, and then heading into this evening and into the overnight. And as you see in parts of southeast Kansas, those numbers go up, and that's because it could get a little colder out to the west this evening, and there could be some light additional freezing rain accumulation. So Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Coffeeville, and points west, you need to watch out for additional slick spots heading into tonight. So as we head through the evening, again, for the most part, we are looking at rain across the area. But again, as temperatures fall out to the west, we're looking at better opportunities for maybe some additional freezing rain. And by the time we head towards sunrise tomorrow, things are going to be improving, not just from precipitation clearing out, but our temperatures looking better as well, as we're looking to go into the low 40s. MoDOT cameras around the metro area, the roads are still wet, and there's also that possibility of some additional black ice and slick spots out there. So again, slow down. It's not a race to get where you're going, and many of you didn't have to go anywhere today, so hopefully you're staying home. Taking a look at our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin, still have a bit of a gusty south breeze out there, and the KDOT cameras south of Pittsburgh on 69. This is near Kansas Crossing, and just to the north of that, you can see there's still some slick spots for sure on the shoulders out there, and you do have to watch out for some patchy black ice. In Joplin right now, we do have that breeze, 33 in Joplin, south breeze at 6. We can see gusts upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. It's making it feel like 28. And as we head over to Pittsburgh, temperatures 32, feels like 27 out there right now with those cloudy skies. And temperatures around the area, we're getting better. We're in the low to mid 30s, and we're starting to see some upper 30s out there as well, and that'll be the trend for us as we go into the upper 30s for our highs. And then as we head into tonight, temperatures don't move too much for most of us, and the rain will continue into the overnight hours, mid 30s. For our Tuesday, we are looking to be in the low 40s out there for our highs. And looking ahead, check out some of these temperatures. Yeah, we got rain chances tomorrow night, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, but temperatures into the 40s, 50s, getting close to 60 by Friday. And even next week, temperatures looking pretty good, and we'll start to see a little more sunshine out there as well. So we are going to improve, and it's going to get a lot better here across the 4 states. Well, over in New Jersey, a wintry wonderland. Take a look at this. People out taking pictures and enjoying the ice-covered trees, ground benches, and light posts in Mary Ellen Kramer Park in Patterson. It's believed that mist from the Great Falls waterfall, along with the sub-freezing temperatures, helped create this wonderland of ice. Well, stick around, because we're making pork chops and applesauce in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen right after this. Well, today, Howard is mixing savory and sweet as he shows us how to make pork chops and applesauce in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
All this week, we're highlighting some of my favorite TV shows from the past, as well as a recipe inspired from each one. Today, we're kicking things off with a show that I watched every Friday night, The Brady Bunch. So you can only imagine how excited I am to have Christopher Knight, who you might recognize as Peter Brady, right here in the test kitchen. Welcome.
Hey, Howard.
How
Oh,
are
I'm
you?
so excited being here.
Isn't it great?
I love your place.
You know, I loved watching the Brady Bunch, and my favorite episode was when you were trying to imitate Humphrey Bogart, and you asked your mom and Alice what was for dinner.
Remember it like it was yesterday. Now, the funny thing about that was I didn't know who Humphrey Bogart was, so I was doing an impersonation of our associate producer's impersonation of Humphrey Bogart, and he had this real clumsy way of doing Humphrey Bogart, now that I know who Humphrey Bogart is. Head tilted, the lips like that. Pork chops, apple chops.
There you have it. Well, in tribute to that classic line, guess what we're making today?
Let me guess. Pork chops and apple chops. Isn't that swell?
That's right, and our version starts with thick cut pork chops that are hand breaded and sauteed with caramelized onions and served with homemade applesauce. You can get the recipe for what Peter Brady calls
pork chops and apple chops
simply by visiting our website. You can also check out our behind the scenes interview where Chris shares all that's going on in his life today. I'm Howard with Christopher Knight in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found
a very Brady way
for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, I like that one. Well, you can find that recipe along with a lot more good food from Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just head over to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now, here's a look at 4-state market prices. Well, some zoos know love is crawling around out there waiting for a pet name. The Bronx Zoo and the San Antonio Zoo say, hey, what says love better than roaches? You can give your loved one or disliked former significant other a gift by naming a roach in time for Valentine's Day. The Cry Me a Cockroach fundraiser lets jilted exes strike back by naming a roach that will get gobbled by a zoo animal. Zoos say your loved ones will appreciate the goosebumps. What a thrilling and exciting way to share some love out there. And today, a great day to stay inside and cuddle up, hopefully with your significant other that you don't want to name a roach after. We're going to go upper 30s today. Rain continues. We get a break tomorrow, low 40s, more rain tomorrow night, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Temperatures, though, almost spring-like, heading close to 60 by Friday. And Dow Quick in our studio. Dow thankfully made it into the studio okay today, so that is good.
Yes, indeed. It's cozy warm in here, and the roads, at least from my experience, weren't too bad. I know people do need to be careful out there. You want to know what's coming up at 5? Well,
I certainly do.
Yeah, more than 60 million children and adolescents participate in organized sports, when about 70% get out of the game by age 13 because of injury and burnout. A new report looks at what doctors say is a growing epidemic of sports-related injuries as children play and train more without resting. Plus, those icy road conditions can be difficult for any driver. Tonight, we're going to hear from some semi-truck drivers on how they make safe deliveries, and highway transportation experts explain the difference between treating icy roads and snow-covered roads. All that at 5. Chris.
All right, Dow, thank you so much. That's our time for now, and we'll see you back here at 5.